Do you think that they were, like the writers of the show, were trying to depict the toxicity that exists in the dancing world?
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Maria.
Hey everybody, it's your girl Shanice.
And this is our podcast, Cinema Chicks.
Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. So today we are talking about the Netflix series Tiny Pretty Things.
So let's talk about it, Maria.
Let's talk about it.
What's Tiny Pretty Things?
Tiny Pretty Things is a show that is based on a ballet school.
Yes.
And you see the different students in the school and their relationships with each other and how that plays out. But we're also sorting through the attempted murder of one of the students.
Yes.
From the very first episode, we see the student get pushed off of the roof of the school's building by somebody who is in a hoodie.
Right.
So we can't see the person's face and we don't know who this person is. We see the person hand her a white rose. So we're trying to figure out throughout the show who pushed her off. But we're also looking at the different the students in the school, the teachers in the school, the parents of the students in the school.
Yeah.
And we're seeing how the girl who got pushed off of this roof, how her being away from the school affects the other students. Alright, so let's get into it. Let's start with the cast.
I feel like the cast is made up of actual dancers. I don't feel like these are actors. I don't feel like they do acting for a living. I feel like they are dancers that were asked to just come and play a role in a show.
Yeah, I definitely feel like they focused in casting, they focused on getting good dancers for the show and not necessarily looking at their acting ability, because for me, watching the first couple of episodes, I was like, this acting is so poor. It was hard for me to watch. It was not believable. Like, I think there was a lot of overacting.
Yes.
It was a little bit much for me. I think I was invested later on because of the story. It was such a good story.
Yeah.
And how they developed each character.
Yes.
There's an appreciation for each character.
I agree.
Individually.
I agree.
And I thought that was good. So that made me invested in the show.
You weren't really lost as to what each character meant to the show.
Yeah.
One thing I'd like to point out though is the love interest part of the show.
Yeah.
Was confusing for me.
First of all, everybody dated each other. Everybody kissed each other. Man, woman, man, man, woman, woman. Like everybody was with each other, and there was a lot of touching and nudity. I wanted to say the sauna was just like a haven for naked bodies. I'm like, okay, you're going to a sauna.
Then clean it like. Everybody was sitting there naked, butt down on
and they're just chilling in there, fully naked. But I wasn't feeling that.
I never felt the love connections. I never felt
none
of the relationships.
Exactly, none of the relationships felt real to me, and it just was going up and up. First, Oren was with BETTE.
Yes,
and we saw.
But the show started off with them together. So I never really thought much of it as like, oh, they are together. Fine.
Yes. Then she breaks up with him.
Yes.
Because she found out that
he was exploring his sexuality.
Yes. He was exploring his sexuality with another character, Shane.
With Shane.
The blonde dancer.
Yes. Who is his roommate.
Yes. They were roommates and they were doing things. BETTE found out about that, and I think that's why she broke up with him. I'm not even sure why.
I don't know if BETTE did even really like Oren,
or if she was just like using him because he's a star dancer at the school and she wanted to be the star female dancer.
I would think that there were undertones of that really being her intention with Oren.
Probably.
I never really felt like there was much love there. But I want to kind of get into a discussion here. Maybe our listeners can even comment down below their thoughts. But what would you do if you found out that your boyfriend was exploring his male roommate.
Do what you want to do, but don't try and fool me up and make me feel like you're in this for the long haul with me, and you're not, because you're thinking about other things and other people. Go on about your ways.
No, I agree. No, don't get curious with me standing beside you. Like, let me go.
Yes.
Discharge me from my duties.
Yes.
And explore yourself.
Yeah, this is not what I want.
No, it's fine to explore, but don't do it with me. In light of that, I don't really feel like Bette's reaction, I don't know, like I don't know what was going through her head.
Bette's reaction when it came on to interpersonal relationships was strange throughout.
Yes.
Whether it came on to an intimate romantic relationship or even just a friendship, I was wondering if she had a heart.
Yeah, she seemed kind of sociopathic.
She was very one-track minded, and even with herself, even with her relationship with herself, because she was damaging herself.
She was dancing on her toe that was broken.
She didn't even care for her own health.
No.
And I'm saying
she just cared about being the star. That was the only thing that mattered to her. But is that true to life? Like, is that true to how these girls are? Really, in the ballerina.
I don't think that's the only thing that's on your mind, and if it is, find something else to become interested in. I don't think that's healthy.
Do you think that they were, like the writers of the show, were trying to depict the toxicity that exists in the dancing world?
Yes, but I think they probably took it too far.
You think so?
When it came on to Bette's character. Yes.
Bette was doing some crazy things. She was taking drugs to not feel the pain.
And her foot is fractured, I think it was.
Yes.
And she was taking drugs so she could dance on her fractured foot before she could heal it. And I thought that was dumb, because I'm saying you're gonna be dancing on your fractured foot, only making it worse. You say you don't want to look like the weakling of the group, but you're only gonna further damage yourself to the point where you probably can't dance ever again.
Yeah.
What you thought about when she took off her socks and showed her blood up toes?
Honestly, when I saw that, I was just thinking, that's probably how every ballerina's toes look.
That was my thought too. So when Orin said, "What's wrong with your foot?" I was like, something wrong with her foot? Like, isn't that how ballerinas, not how their feet look?
Another toxic part of the industry that they tried to show in this show was bulimia.
Yes.
And I was actually I found it interesting that they never made a girl have that issue. It was a guy that
was refreshing, and I actually appreciated that.
Oren throughout the show went on a lot of binges where he ate a lot of food and then he just vomited it all up. Yeah. So it was different to have a guy playing that role. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. So going back to relationships, there was also Nevaeh's character.
Oh yeah.
She basically kissed everybody.
Every guy. Who didn't she kiss?
I think the first one she kissed was Nabil.
Yes.
Who was the boyfriend of the girl
Cassie,
who got pushed off of the ledge, Cassie.
Right.
First of all, when they kissed, I didn't see that coming.
First of all, I'm like, how did we get here?
That's my point.
Then he was feeling guilty because he loved Cassie. And I'm just like, brother.
So we saw Nevaeh with Nabil.
And then we saw her with Oren.
And then we saw her in the end with Oren. And Oren tells her that he loves her in like the second to last episode. And I'm like, how?
That came out of left field. First of all, there was a scene when they were dancing when he confessed that he slept with Shane to Nevaeh. And he was like, if we're going to work as dance partners and together, then you need to know. And then he tells her the secret. Yeah. Next thing you know, they're in a whole relationship.
And he's telling her that he loves her.
I'm like, how did we get here? The show never showed that development.
No.
Like the character development was there, but not in that aspect.
The individual character development was there, but the Character development when it came on to romantic relationships, no. Missing in action.
Gone. Because in the end too, Nabil was with my girl June. Like, how?
Should I skip ahead?
Skip ahead.
Cassie wakes up.
Yes.
Out of her coma.
Yes.
In like the 8th or the 9th episode.
Yes.
So she was basically gone for the whole time, like in a coma.
Yes.
On life support. Her parents pull the plug and she breathes. Right. But I'm only saying that because Cassie wakes up and breaks up with Nabil. Nabil, who has been there by her side every day, reading her stories in her coma, not knowing if she can hear anything that he's saying. She wakes up and breaks up with him. So then he is now.
No, but remember the reason why she broke up with him was because Rahman was there when Nabil came. Yeah. And he was basically blackmailing her, and so she told him
that still was not explained. Yes. What was the point of that?
He's not the killer, so why did he care?
Lots of things were unexplained.
Plot holes everywhere.
There's one other relationship.
Which one?
Ramon
and
Delia, who was the older sister of BETTE. Ramon is the choreographer for the school, so he's putting on the big show of the year that they call Ripper.
Yes.
And he was just the worst male figure you could ever think of. Like,
he was mean.
He was sexually inappropriate.
I think that's another part of the industry that they were trying to display as well, that there are teachers like this who are disrespectful and belittle the dancers. And
I agree, but what I didn't understand or what I didn't think made any sense is when Nevaeh stood up to him in one of the earlier episodes. I don't remember what her issue was, but she's standing up in front of a mirror and he takes up something
and throws
and flings it at the mirror, which is like a few inches from her face, breaks the glass, and everybody in the classroom is just standing up like
okay.
Yeah, he just threw something in her direction.
No biggie.
No big deal. What? What?
Yes.
And there was so much going on in this show where the adult figures were doing some messed up stuff, and the students were making excuses like, oh yeah, we can't do anything about it because they rule us basically. Yeah. And we want to be stars. So if we want to be stars, we're gonna have to put up with this.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. No, I'm sure there's other ballet schools that you can get into.
Yeah, but not that good.
Speaking of that, there was the principal of the school, Monique Dubois.
She was just as disrespectful to the students as Rahman. I don't really think that she really cared about the students. She just cared about being the head of the school. And we see where her character was willing to sell the female students, basically.
So there was this club, like I guess was it a gentleman's club? The men at the club were just perverts. Like the women were there serving them drinks, and there was one man who actually came in contact with June, the character June, and he basically pushes her into a pool and tries to steal her up.
It seems friendly at first. June says, she has to get back to work, and she's getting out of the pool. So he goes like he's about to help her out, but instead he runs his hand up her leg, up her thigh, up past where his hand needs to be. Of course, June is startled by this and pushes him off.
And I think we find out shortly after that Monique Dubois is aware of all of this, and she's basically pimping out these girls, collecting donations or money from these men who are filling up the girls and doing things with them. Since we're talking about June, where her mother was going to take her out of the school because she was not getting any lead roles.
Right.
And her mother said, well, if you're not going to get a lead, if you can't even get a lead role in the school, then how are you going to become a lead in ballet companies when you leave this school and the competition is even higher? So her mother says, you need to go to real school now. You need to actually study.
Get a skill
and make something of yourself. And she refuses. she basically gets into it with her mother and emancipates herself. I appreciated her passion for dance, but I think her getting so angry at her mother and the way her mother was being portrayed as well, like she don't care about her daughter's feelings.
Well, they had the scene where they were in mediation, and I feel like at that point the writers were trying to make us sympathize with both sides, because we hear the mother's story about how she grew up and how she was dependent on somebody and they left her, and you know, she had skills and she was able to make a life for her and June, and she doesn't want June to be in a situation where she cannot make a life for herself if she doesn't make it in dance. June is a little frustrated because she's going through a lot, and she did get the lead role at one point, but I think she missed her audition
because BETTE locked her up.
Right.
BETTE locked her out on the rooftop with Dabil, who I think she was supposed to dance with.
Yes.
And she basically stole the part from June.
Right. So June actually had the part. She lost the part, and her having the part would have made her mother keep her at the school.
Yep.
So it was kind of like a snowball effect for June, where one thing led to another. And so she at one point thought Nevaeh was the reason for all her troubles and was cussing off Nevaeh. I think she went to the police at one stage and was telling the police that she might want to be suspicious of Nevaeh. But
two things I want to say from what you just brought up, right? Why was June so stupid when it came on to not seeing BETTE's true intentions? Because I feel like as a viewer, I could see from the very beginning that BETTE never wanted June to reach nowhere. But for some reason, she kept blaming Nevaeh, like over and over again. She was fine with Nevaeh, then she wasn't fine with Nevaeh. Then she was fine with her again, and then she blamed Nevaeh again. Like BETTE always planted seeds in June's head like Nevaeh is to blame. But there was no reason to believe that Nevaeh was to blame.
Yeah, I don't feel like there was enough there. I don't feel like there was ever enough there to say that Nevaeh is definitely the person. But
and the second thing from what you just said, the police officer.
Yeah.
The police officer, the female police officer.
I feel like she had too big of a role.
She wasn't even really able to get anything done properly.
And the whole time
people were just using her and fooling her up. I'm like, why are you doing this to the lady? Why are you doing this to the lady's character? And there was a point in time where she got frustrated because she wasn't getting anywhere, and she meet up some girl on the roof, the same roof that the girl get knocked off of, and she push a girl on the roof to get information out of her. What?
Yeah.
I was just thinking, what the hell is this?
She was overbearing, honestly. And then she was suffering from some past trauma.
Yeah, which we don't know what it was.
I still don't understand. I still don't know. I'm still confused. She really never solved nothing in the end anyway.
No, because even now, the killer we've later found out is BETTE's sister, Delia, and even up to now,
nobody
the police officer don't know that is Delia.
Yeah.
So the whole time she in the show, I think say in the end she going to be successful, and we're going to find out, and she going to get the arrest, and justice will be served. But no justice. And what the justice there?
No blood. She do arrest random people.
No, that was just like, if you're going to put a police officer in there, at least make the police officer
do something meaningful.
Yeah.
But from what we can see, there's definitely going to be a season 2.
Definitely.
I don't know if they're building up the police officer's character for like a later season, because all now we don't know what her trauma is. We just saw this dead lady on the floor and her pumping her heart and cleaning up the blood off the floor, putting a carpet over. I don't know, like, I don't really understand. There's a lot of things in the show that I don't really get.
Unexplained things.
Yeah, just
I want to get into who you thought it was throughout the show, but yeah.
Honestly, throughout the show, no one person stood out to me.
Same.
I was always confused as to who it was.
Yeah, I agree.
And at no point in time did I think Delia. until they said it.
No. I thought I disagree there. I thought Delia at one point.
When?
Let me tell you the persons who I thought. Never thought it was Sheen. Never thought it was Oren. Never thought it was Nabil. Everybody else?
You thought Nevaeh?
Let me tell you, a thought came in my head about Nevaeh, right? And I didn't think this for long. It was just like a one second thought that I had, but I was saying, I wonder if Nevaeh knew that if Cassie was out, that she would be in. I wonder if Nevaeh knew her before and went on the roof to get rid of her so she could come into the school.
That's a crazy thought.
No.
Handed her a white rose, everything.
I don't know if they knew before. Maybe they met at a dance camp or something. I don't know.
Who else you thought?
Ramon, the choreographer. He was just
yeah. I thought Ramon too. I thought Ramon too.
And then
because he was on the picture with her.
Yeah.
And they ripping too, and it kind of felt like that was a clue. So it might have been him because you saw her half, and then somebody else found like the other half, and he was in there. So I was wondering if they were in a relationship and he was trying to stop her from busting the relationship, like telling people that he was sleeping with her, and so, or him find out that she's sleeping with somebody else and then push her off the roof. I don't know.
And then by extension, I thought it was Delia, who was his girlfriend too, because I thought, okay, she found out that he was sleeping with a girl and then she want to push her off.
Yeah, I think I maybe had thought
that actually happened. That is actually what it was.
Yeah.
In the end, so Delia did push the girl off because she was sleeping with her man.
Are we sure that Delia did it though?
Are you not?
I'm not sure.
Why is it so?
Let me tell you what I think this show is.
Go on through.
I think this show is Pretty Little Liars all over again. We're going to have just a whole bunch of this person, that person, and then it's just going to go around in a circle, and then until you think everybody did it.
But Delia admitted that she did it.
Oh wait, the mother admitted. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, that's true. And
then Bette, actually, as much as Bette was very crazy about being the star, I actually didn't think that she would have pushed the girl off, because I feel like it would have been too obvious for Bette to have been the
person.
one.
Yeah.
So I didn't think it was her.
But what do you think about Bette's mother being okay with Bette taking the blame?
Crazy.
For her sister.
That's crazy.
That kind of explains why Bette is the way she is. She don't have nobody who care about her, so she don't really
care about anybody.
Yeah, because her mother only cares. I think that she might feel like her sister gets all the attention because she was the star. So if she gets to the point where she's the star, maybe mommy will love me a little bit more, like, or care about me.
Yeah.
So she just doesn't care about anything but being the star.
Agreed. Another thing that I liked about the show is the dance scenes. I thought they were good.
You know what I thought?
What? What are you saying now?
Oh God, like when you have musicals, these people had random bursts of just dancing.
It's true.
And I was like, what's happening? Are we going to talk about Bette's bad boy lover? Who wasn't really a bad boy. She got to the boy for drugs and give her mint.
No, she goes to him and she's like, do you have the stuff? Like, being very coy, she's like, do you have that kind of stuff? And he's looking at her like, that's what you came here for? That's what you wanted to get from me?
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, like, do you have the stuff? And so he just goes, yeah, I have the stuff, come.
Yeah, you know what?
Yeah, I have the stuff, come. And they go like to
go to him truck
at the back of the place in the alley, and then him give her some and she smiles. Yeah, she got the stuff, and it was just mint. I did like that.
Disrespected.
Yeah, of course, but I did like his response.
Me too. And then they eventually ended up getting together.
One last thing, Cassie, when she eventually woke up, turned out to be like really calculated.
Yeah.
and she could hear everything that persons were saying to her while she was in the coma.
Yeah. But that's usual.
So persons came and told secrets to her, and so she knows everybody's secrets, and then she's going to lie to the police and to the public that BETTE pushed her when it was actually Delia.
Yeah.
Why did she do that?
Because
what was she getting from that?
Remember that Ramon did threaten her with something, you know?
So you think it's in relation to that?
Yeah, Ramon probably knows that Delia did it.
So you think so, but why would Ramon want to protect Delia?
That's a good question.
Because they're not together anymore.
But we don't know what their conversation was, you know.
Ramon have something upon Delia and Delia have something upon Ramon. Oh, but guys, Ramon died in the end.
In the end. In the end.
Him get stabbed.
Who was in the room? Nevaeh.
So it was Nevaeh, BETTE, and June in the room. June was on the floor bawling, and Nevaeh and BETTE were just standing up looking.
Yeah, confused.
In walks in the police officer who can't solve the crime.
Who never solved the first crime and now have a second
crime.
Are you looking forward to season 2 of this show?
Actually, yes. I am.
To be honest, I'm not.
You don't care?
No, I don't care for it. I don't like those types of shows. I don't like.
Let me tell you, I will watch the next season. As much as I say I don't like the acting and all of that, I want to see what happens. So I'm gonna watch the next one.
I might do it too, you know. I might just
I'm
be
sure you will.
The shows, alright. I like shows like How to Get Away with Murder, which has the same kind of, at the end of the season, somebody else dead and you
the
want
cliffhanger.
To see, yeah. But this one, there's so many lingering questions still from season 1. It's just like, do I care to see season 2 where there's going to be more plot holes and questions unanswered? Like, I can't bother.
Yeah.
But, gonna look out for it. You guys, let us know what you thought about the show.
Let us know what you thought.
And let us know what you thought about each character.
Who was your favorite character?
Who was your favorite character?
BETTE.
Really?
Yep. She was passionate and she was a little crazy and...
Remind you of you?
What? No, I liked her character. She had something to live for.
My favorite character was Shane. I just like Shane. Seemed like the cool guy. He was cool with everybody. He was always trying to keep the peace.
Least favorite.
I was disappointed in Nevaeh's character. Because I was kind of going into the show feeling like she's going to be the star. She's going to stand out.
Yeah.
No.
No, it didn't happen.
No.
My least favorite, I want to say Ramon, but it was actually Nabil. He was boring.
What would you rate the show overall?
You go first.
Me? It did keep me in suspense all the way until the last episode. So in that regard, it wasn't bad. But in terms of everything else, I would give this show, I would say, just over okay, which is about a 6. I'll give it a 6.
6.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a 6 too. Thanks again for listening, guys. Subscribe to our channel, like up the video, like up the posts,
turn on the post notifications,
bell.
Yes. And comment all your feelings down below. If you got this far, comment Ripper.
Yep.
Alright, so we will see you guys next week for our next episode.
Adios.